Don't be afraid of spiders. Hello and welcome to Fiddly Fifi. Today we're going to talk about the Chlorophytum comosum, aka the spider plant. This is Big Mama. This is my personal spider plant. This is a variegated version, so she has a lot of beautiful white markings on her. I've had her several years. She is in an east-facing window, and she is very close to the window. I haven't had any problems with any leaf burn or any leaf drop, so apparently she likes being near that east-facing window. I have a second spider plant here. Well, I have tons of spider plant, but a second one in that same sunroom, and she is further back from the window, and she also does well. So I believe for me, medium to bright indirect light has worked for my spider plants. The one issue I've had with Big Mama, I got her from a farmer's market, and I didn't realize that there was a creeping Charlie in the soil with her. So I got her, I put her in the window, and about 6 months later, I started having this huge vine trailing out of her pot. And I was like, what is that? So I did my research, found out it was a creeping Charlie. And it wasn't bothering her at that time. She wasn't suffering or anything like that. But it just began to take over. And it just got longer and longer and bigger and bigger. So I decided to go ahead and repot her. And they have these really like chunky, super white roots, beautiful roots. And so I went ahead and repotted her, and I took the creeping Charlie out. And then she just burst into, you know, just this beautiful, beautiful plant. She was beautiful before, but she got just super thick and she started thriving. So I think he was robbing her of some of her nutrients. So that was the only problem, but I haven't had any other problems. Her watering schedule, as I always tell you guys, I do have a watering schedule. I have a watering day, but for me, that's just a suggestion. Meaning that if I check my plant, you can use the soil test where you can just put your finger and check the top 2 inches of soil. You can check the weight of the plant because it'll be a little bit lighter when it needs water. You can buy a moisture meter, but just because it's watering day doesn't mean I force water on the plant. If she doesn't need it, I don't water her. So as it turns out, she needs water about every week, every other week. And I also feed her every other week. Well, I feed her every other time I water her. So one water with nutrients, one water, and so on. Now, I'm comfortable watering when it's not the growing season because of the environment that I have for my plants. I keep my space a certain temperature, I have humidifiers, so I create an environment where they kind of don't know it's winter, so I still feed them throughout the actual winter that's outside. So another thing about spider plants is that they produce tons and tons of what we call pups. Each one of these is called a pup. You see there's some there's more on this one. And so each one of these is a potential new plant. So this is great. This plant was really popular during the 70s, you know, peace and love and sharing and all of that stuff. And so this was a great plant because you can just pop one of these off and then share it with your friends and they've got a brand new plant. So very easy to propagate. Water propagation, let me show you. Let me get this stuff out of my way. So water propagation, just how it sounds. You're gonna take the pup off and you're just gonna stick it in water. This one, yeah, this is the one that I did Saturday. I believe it was Saturday. And you can see, I don't know how closely you can see that, but it already has a few little tiny white roots growing. So about 24 to 72 hours, you're gonna have a new little plant forming roots. So I have what I call a little water garden where I just go and buy all these different types of bottles. Look at that, I think that's so cute. Different types of bottles. This was a bottle, not last year, but the year before I got for my birthday. Of course, had a couple of drinks and then I saved this bottle. So a lot of times I'll go to Goodwill and find just all different types of vases or little bottles, and they're very easy to water propagate. So within 24, 48 hours, you're going to have roots. Within a couple of days, a couple of weeks, you're going to have really great roots. And so you can take this and you can put this right into soil, or if you just like the way it looks with the water, you can just leave it in the water. Make sure that you change the water every other day, as much as you think about it. And I do not put anything in that water. That's straight tap water. No nutrients, no hydroponic fertilizer, nothing, just water. So that's how you water propagate. So basically, here we are with just that little glass that I have. I only have one, so this is why I can use that one. And I like to use all different types of glassware because it's just really cute, you know. So you just put some water, and let's take a pup from here. So you're gonna take it right from the stem, and that's where it came off the stem. And the opposite side is where the roots are gonna form. And when you do this, you'll be able to see these little kind of pre-roots forming. Just take that, push it in the water. So very easy. Wait a couple of days and you're gonna have roots. It's just that easy to water propagate these pups. And before you know it, you'll have roots that you can choose either to put in soil or you can keep it there. Another way you can do it is in soil. Where, oh, and by the way, I found these, they're terracotta. They were 2 in a package and they were at Dollar Tree. So I don't know if they're at your Dollar Tree, but this is really cool to start some of your little babies. And it's actually terracotta. So at 50 cents, you can't go wrong if you find them in your Dollar Tree, okay? So with that, you're just gonna make a little hole in the soil there. And I'm gonna take another pup. So here's another one. Just came off of the stem there. And I'm gonna take this, and you don't have to really push it way down, just enough so the soil covers those little roots. And before you know it, you have created another little plant. So that's what I meant by in the 70s where they were just sharing and giving away. Look how many plants I have just from one plant. So it's really easy to propagate. The only difference in the water and the soil, you can see the roots growing, and in the soil you can't. But this is one I did maybe about 3 weeks ago. And I can tell, let me pull some of this ugly brown off of here. I'm always pulling off of these plants. This is what plants do, you know, they get new growth, just like your hair. I did hair for a number of years and people don't understand. Yes, your hair sheds, but you're losing some, you're gaining some. So that's the way life works. If you've already got something in your hands, you can't fit anything else. Sometimes you have to get rid of things so you can get more stuff, okay? So just like us, plants do that. You might see them drop some leaves and gain some leaves. So leaf drop is not always the worst thing in the world. So to make this plant really nice and full, I put multiple pups in there. So that's another idea for you if you want to propagate a few, and then we can put 5 or 6 of these in one pot, and that'll make it look nice and full and pretty. Okay, so that's it for the Chlorophytum comosum. This is very easy to maintain. You can use tap water, bright to medium to bright indirect light, and feeding, you know, you're gonna know your own feeding schedule based on the climate of the area where you have your spider plants. But before you know it, you can have multiple plants, okay? I wanted to show you Curly Sue. Curly Sue, I believe this variety is called the Bonnie, but this is a curlier version of Big Mama. So she has these little curly, let's see, this one is a better example, these little curly leaves. And I thought they were so cute and they look like hair. And of course, being a former hairdresser, I just took 4 pups on each side and made 2 ponytails and made this cute little face. So we all know that interior design and houseplants go hand in hand. So also, if you want this to be aesthetically pleasing, you can trim these back and it won't hurt the plant. Her bangs were getting a little gnarly, so you can literally go in here and I can trim up her bangs there. Miss Curly Sue and make her ponytails pop a little bit more. And this totally will not hurt the plant. In my home, I'm just a weirdo like that. I want to see what the plants do when I just leave them to their own devices. So a lot of times I will just leave them alone. But you're welcome to go ahead and trim these out, clean them up, and make them look better in your space, okay? Because nobody wants a dead-looking plant in their space. So you're welcome to do that. Just remember when you're repotting a plant, or sometimes when you do a trim, so now she looks a lot better. What is that? Sometimes it will stress the plant out, so just give the plant a couple of days to recuperate, and don't freak out if the plant freaks out. Now our ponytails look a little cuter. Go ahead, Curly Sue. She's about a year old, so I really haven't started like bothering her, and she only has a couple of pups, and she's not, producing as many as Big Mama, so I haven't felt comfortable really taking her babies yet. So Curly Sue's got a little ways to go, but all in all, super easy, beautiful house plant, very easy to maintain, very easy to propagate, so you can share with friends and family. This is the Chlorophytum comosum, or the spider plant. So we're no longer afraid of spiders, right? So grab a spider plant and let's get growing.